The Bachelorette Australia casts its first openly bisexual lead, Brooke Blurton, to date male and female suitors throughout her season. Hey guys, and welcome back to another shared news from home. We've got all the details you need to know about Bachelor Nation, but before we get into it, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any of our future videos. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I'm joined today by Fiona Zering and Denise Salcedo, and we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So what are your guys' thoughts on this news? We have a first bisexual lead. Denise, what were your thoughts on this when you heard about the news?
I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I was completely kind of excited when I heard the news because it's something that's never been done before. And to me, that's exciting. I want to see what the interactions are going to be like between everybody in the house, between Brooke and everyone. So I think this is very exciting.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we've been talking a lot about trying to, move this franchise forward. The US franchise has had a lot of controversy. People want to see something new. And the question has always been, how would you structure it? How would you do it? So what's really cool to me is Australia is doing it. They have an idea. It could be an incredible season. And just having like a blueprint might make things speed up in our production here in the US. So definitely exciting news all around.
I totally agree with you, Fiona. It could definitely be a blueprint and speed things up for other countries who do The Bachelor, like us in the US and like in Canada. And I also think it's just so important because we all know here, love is love, whether that's male, female, or anything in between, whatever your sexual orientation is or your gender is, love is love. So it's important to see those stories on TV to really showcase that. And this is the first time globally that the franchise will ever have a mixed gender cast for The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And the Bachelorette herself, Brooke, opened up to the Daily Telegraph saying, "I am not too sure if Australia is ready for it. I certainly am, and if it makes people feel uncomfortable in any way, I really challenge them to think about why it does." So Brooke is already acknowledging that it might take some viewers a second to process this. Maybe not everybody has, friends in the community. What do you think is the overall reaction of viewers? Do you think a lot of people are excited? Do you think that there are some viewers who might be hesitant? Or are there viewers who are going to be going into this looking to learn more about the community and about different relationships, whether that's male and male or female and female? Fiona, what is your thoughts?
I would love to say that every single person out there, Australia and around the world that's going to tune into this is going to press play and be like, awesome, I'm ready. I totally get it. But the reality is that's just not the case. You said something that I'm super hopeful that maybe some people will tune in who don't understand or who are, not sure that they're comfortable with it, but will go in with an open mind and absolutely, give it their all, learn, grow, be happy for people. So that would be best case scenario for me for some of those people out there who maybe just don't get it yet. I do think that it's 2021 and it's time, to have this on TV. If it makes some people uncomfortable, then listen, either don't tune in, or if you're going to tune in, don't spread hate, right? I mean, that's sort of what I'm hoping for. Maybe it's a fool's errand. I'm sure there are going to be people out there who just simply aren't ready and who are going to, say some disappointing things, but taking the step is important. And I really commend the franchise in Australia for being the first to do it, to say, the time is now, and regardless if it's everyone's cup of tea, we're going to make it happen. So very excited. What about you, Denise?
I completely agree with you. And here's the thing is that if we learned anything last year is that us, the people, we cannot agree on anything. We'll argue about each and every single thing there is to argue about. But here's the thing is that I do think that there's going to be three types of viewers per se. There's going to be people that are like, I'm so ready for this. I'm excited. Let's see how it's going to work out and all of that, right? Then there's going to be the other viewer that is going to be, maybe curious, maybe a little bit hesitant, but willing to give it a try, maybe trying to be a little bit more open-minded, just curious about how it's all going to work. But then I do think there is going to be that third viewer that is just like, you know what, I hate this, I'm totally anti this, or whatever the case may be. And they might just tune in just to kind of hate, because that's kind of what we get nowadays in this world.
Yeah, this is going to set like a huge social change. I think obviously LGBTQIA representation is louder than ever these days. I know that 1 in 6 out of every Gen Zers identifies in the LGBTQ community. So more and more people these days are coming forward with their sexuality and exploring it and being open with it. So it's only right that we see that on TV. And I think that will help normalize it being on such a popular, show like The Bachelor. It's really going to normalize it and spread more awareness and exposure to these love stories, because at the end of the day, it's just a human being falling in love with a human being. And it's really no other concept than that. It's so much more similar to straight relationships than I think a lot of people who might be ignorant and stuck in the past realize. So, for everyone that doesn't know, Brooke was originally a contestant on Nick Cummins' season of the Australian version of The Bachelor in 2018, and she also appeared on BIP Australia the following year. And when she was on Nick's season, she actually came out to him, telling him about her past history dating both males and females.
I was with a guy for 3 years. Oh, this is really uncomfortable for me to tell you, but I've also had 2 relationships with women.
Which he reacted great to. So there has been a couple other openly bisexual Bachelor contestants in the US version, including Jamie King, who was on Nick Viall's season, as well as Demi Burnett brought her girlfriend to Bachelor in Paradise, Kristen Haggerty. The two of them ended up getting engaged on the show. That was also huge for the Bachelor community to have that representation there. But Bachelor in Paradise is a little different than The Bachelor or Bachelorette. These contestants, while some of them might be bisexual, they're going to date Brooke. They're not going to date other contestants in the mansion. So I'm wondering what you guys think of that. Do you think that any of the contestants could possibly like each other because they are going to be spending more time with each other? Or do you think that might just be a little bit of a ignorant assumption to assume that they are not only going to be there for Brooke and Brooke only? Denise, what are your thoughts on that?
See, that's a very complicated thing because if we all know that love necessarily isn't planned. I mean, heck, you can go to the cafe and meet the love of your life. You just don't know. So I do think that it's okay to maybe assume that somebody will go into this house and that, hey, they might form some sort of relationship. But at the same time, it could also be misconstrued where people will be like, oh, but you're just thinking negatively about this because they might just definitely be there for Brooke like you would get in a normal season of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. So I do think that you can argue both points, but at the end of the day, we're not going to really know until we actually see the show. And even if let's say everything goes as planned this season and they decide to do it again, it might not be the same outcome. So no matter what, there's going to be different types of situations. Now, I do know that if there is any, falling in love or developing crushes amongst the contestants themselves, it may add a little bit of drama, which we all know the showrunners are definitely going to want to add the drama. But at the same time, it does take away from the premise of the show where the people the contestants are there to fall in love with this main person, and the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, whoever it may be, they're essentially seen as like the rock star of the show where it's like everybody wants me. So it would defeat the premise of that. So I think at the end of the day, I am excited to see how this is all going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that I love how you said, like, love isn't planned. It can totally be random. And I think that, there's no way to 100% guarantee that nobody in that house finds somebody else attractive or has a really great friendship that later down the line, maybe they think, hey, we could be compatible. I mean, I'm thinking, like, take romance aside, we see women and men who don't get along in the house all the time. Camera ends, season stops rolling, and suddenly they're hanging out on Instagram, right? So like the relationships that are made in this really unique environment that these people are put into, the contestant to contestant bond, like definitely is something that outlasts the show. So I do think that if producers say to a group of people, hey, you're here to see if you can fall in love with this person. If you're not feeling that connection, it's not paradise, right? Like if you're not hitting it off with a lead, but you're hitting it off with a fellow contestant, that's not really what you're there to do. So I feel like if it's not encouraged by production to potentially make connections throughout the house, what a contestant might just do is bow out of the situation, see where that person's journey goes on the season, And hey, maybe it doesn't work out and they reconnect after the fact, right? I mean, there's so many ways that it could play out. I think it's really going to be production that sets the tone, right? Production is going to put a bunch of people in the house, tell them the rules, tell them the goals, tell them what they're looking for, and that's going to be the show. So it's going to be really exciting to watch, to see it all unfold, and it might not be what we're used to, which honestly could be great.
Yeah, it's going to be refreshing to see this just new element to the show. Obviously, love is love, so it's not like it's going to change the whole premise of the show, but it is a new added layer. And I also think that the contestants are there to fall in love with Brooke. So if you're not there to fall in love with Brooke, then you need to go. But I also think that this is setting us up for possibly a Bachelor in Paradise, which will be strictly LGBTQA kind of vibe, which I think would be so much fun. And I also think that there would be so much drama on that. Do you guys think that this will happen in the US or Canada or other countries soon? And like, what do you think? Like, how is this going to set the tone for other countries to do the same and hop on that bandwagon?
I definitely see it happening here sometime soon in the United States, especially if Australia is doing it already.
Mhm.
People here are gonna be like, "Oh, we're missing out here. Like, we're missing out on these ratings opportunities. We're missing on us being the ones at the forefront." So I do think that once that Australia kicks it off, they are going to be curious, and I think we will be seeing it here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think that this has been something that enough fans in the US have definitely been vocal about for some time. And I think that it's always been there's so much going on in the franchise, there's so much we have to figure
Mhm.
out, like, meh. But now Australia has figured it out. And if this show creates a beautiful love story, really compelling television, then I have a really strong feeling that if it's not the Bachelor franchise here, if that model works, the Bachelor doesn't jump on it, someone could take that reality TV dating show blueprint, bring it
Mhm.
here, put it in another franchise, right? Maybe we're going to see something like it from MTV. So The Bachelor needs to jump on this, needs to make it happen in the US if they want to lead the charge in the US, right? People are calling for it, people want to see it. The time seems like it's now. So I definitely think we're
100%.
going to get something like that here. And I hope that the Bachelor franchise steps up to the plate and does it.
Yeah, we have gotten similar types of dating shows on different networks, but never The Bachelor. And I think the reason why The Bachelor, we put so much emphasis on The Bachelor is because The Bachelor is the most popular dating show in the world. Tasha Adams just accepted the award at MTV for the best dating show. So I think that's why we put so much emphasis on The Bachelor to make these changes and be proactive for inclusion and diversity. But it's also like, look how long it took to get a Black Bachelor. So it's like, I don't even know how long it will take for them to really add that to the US version. But I have no idea. Fingers crossed. And that is all we have for you guys today. So let us know, comment below what you think. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell because we'll be back for more Bachelor news as we are leading up to Katie's season just 2 weeks away. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I was joined today by Fiona Zaring and Denise Salcedo. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so make sure to give us a follow and say hello. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.